here by myself, but I just went with the old intro. Let's get right into business here. There's no need to ramble or whatever. The intro stuff. There's nobody to ask how are you doing to. That stuff's boring too. But let's talk about some buy lows that I'm seeing. Right into it. I got 5 hitters and 3, 6, like 10 pitchers. Kind of easier to do this on the pitcher side. But let's do it. On the screen, if you're watching, you already see Nico Hoerner here. I'm looking to buy a little bit low on him. I'm going to be flipping around the dashboards like crazy on the screen, but I will record this as if nobody's watching. But this is how I do things anyway. I show the dashboards. Let me talk first generally, right? There's a couple ways to like buy low on a player. There's the obvious way, and this one you don't get away with too often. Look at the expected stats, which we'll do. We'll do some of that. Like a guy with a high expected WOBA, expected batting average, and a lower actual, right? Like those are pretty obvious. Same, you can do that for pitchers too. You have all those stats on the dashboards for pitchers too, even expected batting average allowed versus actual average allowed. Maybe I'll just flip around and try to find some extra guys as we go. The other way is just to buy into the players that are doing poorly, even in the expected stats, that are with the qualifier of good players, right? If a guy's been good for 3, 4, 5 years, and then they're not doing well this year, even if the expected stats are bad, like we'll talk about Manny Machado, even if the expected stats are bad, like, okay, he's 34 or whatever, like he's not Nelson Cruz trying to do this at 41 or Verlander or whatever extreme you're talking about. These guys that have been really good for a long time and aren't that old, like aren't super old, you can just kind of expect them more often than not, like way more often than not. They're going to have, their second half, the rest of the season should be a lot more like their career average rather than what they did in the first half. We're talking about 3 months of baseball here, right? Like Nico Hoerner here, 78 games. So are we really going to judge the guy on 78 games when we have 400 some available to us in the last 3 years? 150 times, almost 500 games for this guy played in the last 4 years. So Nico Hoerner, 2023, I will get my big face off the screen. Let's go full screen here. We're looking right here in just the career stats. This is in the MLB and MILB stats. The resolution isn't that good, but look at what Hoerner does here. 284 average in 2023, 271 in 2024, 297 in 2025. This year, 241. We'll get into the expected stuff, but right there, you can almost just stop and be like, okay, you could go look at the advanced hard hit rates, line drive rates, expected batting average and stuff, and we will, but you don't have to do that. You can just say this guy's hit 280 at least for his whole career, for 5 seasons up until now, and now he's hitting 241. So what do we project the second half? Like, we're still going to wisely project. The smart projection would be 275 or something like that. Like maybe not 297 like he did last year, but not 240 like he's at right now. He's not hitting home runs. He's got 9, 7, 7, and 4 home runs for this year. And then the 3 I just said for Hoerner or the previous 3 years. So whatever, but that's not how he's valued anyway. Stolen bases and batting average, right? You're not getting the batting average this year. You still got 12 steals, which is a career low pace. It looks like at least recent career. He's still 29 last year on a 19% attempt rate. He's got 12 halfway through here with a 16% attempt rate. So the attempt rate down a little bit, but this is part of his game, right? I think probably the batting lineup stuff matters too. We could take a peek at that. I'm guessing he's hitting further down the lineup. We'll take a look. But let's do the expected thing first. But really, you don't need to get into all this. You can just say, look, this guy's playing way below his career averages, and his career averages are big enough sample size where we can just believe them. And then you can just go based on that. Let me try to refresh this so we can get more higher resolution, but I'm trying to zoom in. Hoerner, lots of data here at a load. These dashboards can be a little bit slow, as you know, if you've used them, but they're still good enough. Nico Hoerner this year, 1% barrel rate, right? Like very, very low. Not going to be part of his game, but we're not talking about that anyway. 289 expected batting average for the year, 241. That's 50 points difference there. And honestly, that XBA on my dashboard should probably be a touch higher. I don't know what it says on Savant. Let's find out. Because the Savant adds in a little bit for sprint speed, for speed. It juices them up, and mine doesn't do that. It just takes the quality of the contact. So 292 on Savant, so it's only a 3-point difference. Mine's always gonna be really close. It's just missing a tiny little weighting thing. So Nico Horner, 241 average, 290 expected. We'll drag the date slider here since May 1st. 286 expected batting average, so it hardly goes down at all, and yet he's hitting 207. No homers in his last 210 plate appearances. So there's the thing you got to be aware of. Like, you don't want to trade for this guy if you're already hurting in home runs, because he's going to hurt you even more there. But if you're loaded up in homers and you just need some batting average, like, this is the guy to go after. Again, Nico Horner, last 210 plate appearances, hitting 207, expected 286. He's striking out 5.7% of the time. He's got way more walks, 9.5% walk rate than his 5.7% strikeout rate. The hits will come. He's hitting a lot of ground balls right now. That should go down a little bit. Not hitting fly balls, which is good. You want line drives and ground balls from Horner, guys like that. So Nico Horner, buy if you need some steals and some batting average to help you out. I got Manny Machado here. It's another one of these cases. Well, I wanted to look at a lineups thing for Horner. Let's see what the Cubs are doing. I got a new-ish lineups tool here. Make sure you're making sure the date range is updated. So Horner, let's see. He started the year hitting a lot of leadoff, and recently he's been hitting 6th or 7th. So moving down the lineup a little bit, he's kind of like their second leadoff man. But he gets that batting average back up. He's hit second a couple of times recently, so they're not burying him. Maybe they will because he's not hitting. But once the hits start falling in, he was their leadoff guy at the beginning of the year. That's what they're going to want to do. So that's it on Nico Horner. Machado now, right? Go back to the career stuff for Machado. Last year, Machado hits 275, slugs 460, 27 homers, 14 steals. This year so far, not as good, obviously. 187 average, 382 slug. Good news, 14 homers. So his home run rate is actually above what he did last year. He hit 27 homers last year. A really good number. Hit 29 the year before that. And his home run rate is 4.3%, which is a touch higher than 2025 and a touch lower than 2024. Basically, he's doing the same thing homer-wise. It's just this 187 average. It doesn't help that the Padres have had their worst offensive season in a long time, too. The RBIs and stuff, the opportunities aren't there. And that's not super likely to change. I think Tatis will be better. I think Merrill will be a little bit better. Not sure what the trade deadline will look like for them. They're usually not a team out there adding impact players at the deadline, but so that's down a little bit, and Machado's on the wrong side of the aging curve for sure. We would have expected a decline from last year, but not this much, obviously. He's got some homers lately, looking better lately for the season. 184 average, 230 expected. That's no good. Let's look at his last couple hundred plate appearances, May 10th or so. 167 plate appearances, 220 expected batting average, 172. So still a low expected, but way above the actual, right? He's got a 167 BABIP in these last 170 plate appearances. Got a 203 BABIP over his last 111. 240 expected batting average over the last 111 with 6 homers. So he's doing some things better. I don't think he's any longer. I guess Machado was never really maybe 1 or 2 years when he was really in the prime in Baltimore. Was he a first or second round pick? Might have been a first round pick once or twice, but he's not been a guy since he got to San Diego that's been okay, this is a top 20 fantasy hitter, but he can be a lot better than this. And that's what buy lows is all about. And you also have the case that just nobody, for that reason, nobody's really excited about Machado. Nobody is really thinking, the guy that owns him in your league, they're not thinking, oh, Machado, if he turns it around, he's going to be my best hitter. That's just not who he's been. So that makes that person a little bit even more likely to move them, right? It doesn't seem like a loss they'll really regret, but I think it's a good time to get Machado. Brandon Nimmo is the third one. Brandon Nimmo. This is all about, I know Texas it's brutal. It's a brutal place to hit, and we can see that for Nimmo already. The home road splits down here. If you're watching, I'm highlighting them. 225 at home, 1 homer, 326 slug. And then on the road, he's hitting 303, 515 slugs, 7 homers, 399 expected WOBA on the road, 360 at home. And that's interesting because expected WOBA, expected batting average, is totally blind of park. It's just about the launch angle and the launch speed, the EV off the bat. So the fact that you have splits there doesn't really make a lot of sense. You would think, I guess, unless it's cores where the pitching's affected or whatever. And I don't know what's going on in Texas. I haven't been able to figure it out, but you really don't expect expected WOBA, expected batting average, to be different over the long haul, because that's just about how the metrics of the batted ball right off the bat. The park stuff doesn't come into play until after that ball is in motion. So I'm not sure what that means in the case of Nemo, but it's a 360 expected WOBA at home. That's really high. Maybe the park is the reason that it's only turned into a 326 slug. But if you look up here at the WOBA versus expected moving average, like the green line has been above the red since May, which means higher expected than WOBA than actual. And both have been pretty good in June. We look at June. He's had a nice June. He was doing some really good things, I think, till a little bit of a slump he's on lately. Nemo in June, 1 homer, but a 11% barrel rate and a 20% K rate. It's pretty wild. He's converted 1 of 7 barrels for homers this year. 14% of them pulled, so that's low. He's hitting a lot of his barrels to center field, but he hits the ball decently hard, 105.6 EV90 in the air for Nemo, 105 EV90. That's good enough. It's good enough to think 18, 20 homers. So a lot of bad luck here. Again, just a 28% home run to barrel rate. That's one of the lowest you'll find. And some of it's his fault because he's just not pulling a lot of them. 76% of his barrels are to center field, which I guess in Texas, those aren't really going to convert at a high rate. But, Nemo, like Machado, he's not really ever going to be a fantasy stud. But in an OBP league or a points league or something, he walks a lot, he leads off, and he's been pretty unlucky, I would say. 295 expected batting average this year, 267 actual, a big 381 expected WOBA. The temperature stuff can't hurt in Texas, right? Like, it gets really hot and humid in Texas. Do they have a dome? I think they have a dome. I think it's usually open, so it should get better, right? Like, all these hitting environments should continue to get better like they've been in June. So Brandon Nemo's on the list. Max Muncy in the same regard. I don't know, maybe he needs to upgrade his glasses prescription or something, like he got the glasses last year and just rocket launched off. And then when you start wearing glasses, this is going to be more of a joke. I'm not actually making this argument, but when you start wearing glasses, like when you're a kid, you need to keep upgrading the prescription, right? Maybe not in all cases, but because your eyes get lazy and they get, I shouldn't even gone this far, but your eyes get used to that. They loosen up, the muscles get even weaker or whatever. Then you need to keep getting a stronger prescription. Somehow my eyes have stopped doing that. I was getting a stronger and stronger contact prescription until like last year when they said, oh, actually you stayed about the same. So I don't know, but I'm probably about the same age as Max Muncy. I don't know. It's a big joke. Like, it's just it's a vision joke, because that was the thing with Muncy last year. He's had a nice season, 16 homers, 508 slug, 871 OPS. It's just that, like, he's got a 15% barrel rate and a 24% K rate and a 23% air pull rate, and yet a pretty low home run to barrel rate of 48%. He's just hitting a lot of balls really hard in the air. I think he just should have more home runs than he does, which at 16, that's a pretty good number. I just think he can be better, and the guy's really never been bad. He's been pretty good all year this year. These WOBA lines are pretty much above the league average all season long over these 15-day samples. And, never a bad idea to have a Dodgers bat. Of course, against lefties, he's actually playing a good bit against lefties, hitting them pretty well, too. 255 average for Muncy against lefties, 4 homers, 227 expected batting average. So he's been pretty lucky against lefties, I guess. But against righties, he's pretty much a stud. 275 expected batting average, 391 expected WOBA. And I'm guessing a bunch of RBIs, at least. Oops, I pulled up the wrong Muncy. Oh, no, I didn't. That's the right Muncy, the 2 Muncy thing. 34 RBIs. That feels kind of low, doesn't it? What did he have last year? This is the one thing I'm not too good at. I'm not usually paying too much attention to RBI counts. He had 67 RBIs last year, so that's a little bit low. 100 games played. He got hurt. He sits against lefties, playing a little bit more against lefties this year, I believe. On pace for, only 70 RBIs. I don't know. It's not going to be great because he just doesn't play a ton. Like, his last 4 seasons, he's reached 579 plate appearances as a max, 136 games as a max going back to 2022. But healthy now, hitting it well. I just think that, and you're definitely going to get him cheap. Like, nobody seems to think that Max Muncy is good for fantasy, and he's good, especially points leagues, OBP leagues, still doing a lot of the walks, 12% walk rate, which is actually his career low going back to 2021 at least. Not sure what that's about. If he's swinging a little bit more, I could tell you. swinging 43% of the time. I think that is a little bit higher than usual. So he's a little more aggressive, and that's good for home runs and stuff, getting more balls in play, but bad for walks. But 12% walk rate is actually kind of a sweet spot. You like walks, but you don't want too many of them because then you're just giving plate appearances away. So Max Muncy's there too. Last hitter, I got Michael Busch, first baseman for the Cubs. Lefties, we thought maybe it was going to be like a platoon thing. He's got 106 plate appearances against lefties, so he's playing, not hitting them super well. 238 XBA, 351 expected WOBA. That's actually pretty darn good. By the expected WOBA over expectation, he's actually been better against lefties this year than against righties. But righties, 413 slug against righties for Busch, 7 homers. And look, he had this crazy, the whole Cubs lineup. Maybe not the whole Cubs lineup. He started really slow. Let's go to May 1st and show you what Michael Busch has done. Since May 1st, 219 plate appearances for Busch, 884 OPS, 7 homers, 13.5% barrel rate, 22% K rate for Michael Busch, 396 expected WOBA. The winds are give and take. It's not all like the winds are always blowing out in Wrigley, but the hot temperatures don't hurt. He's just a good hitter. Remember the tear he went on last September? Obviously not going to say that is going to happen again, or there's any reason to think that he's like a great September hitter or something like that. But let's do this because he did kind of just start hitting homers. He was always kind of a middling home run guy. Like, he doesn't swing the bat very hard. Last year for Michael Busch, he had 8 homers in September and just 95 plate appearances. He really went crazy, and then he was their leadoff guy in the postseason and was really good there too. Like, you couldn't get the guy out. So if we look at, let's do this. Let's go to his home run rate before and after September of last year. This is stuff you can do right on the dashboards. So if we go to the beginning of 2025 through August 2025 for Michael Busch, he hit a home run in 1 every 19 plate appearances. I think this is actually going to not prove what I wanted it to prove because that's lower than I thought. Yeah, this is going to actually be the freaking opposite. So that's too bad. That was about 500 plate appearances, and 450 plate appearances since last September began is 26. So it's actually gotten a little bit worse. That's really surprising to me. Just 9 homers this year. I guess that doesn't help. He's at a 2.6% home run rate this year. It was 5.7% last year. So, yeah, the power is down a little bit, but we've seen a little bit of it come back. He hit a homer the other day. He's got 4 in June. I don't know, just a solid hitter. Another guy, points leagues, like takes a lot of walks. I believe, has he still been their leadoff hitter against lefties? Let's see, who's been the leadoff guy? I guess not. I guess Pete Crow Armstrong has kind of taken that role for him. Michael Busch is hitting third mostly, which is just as good, if not better. You want RBIs, you want a little bit of everything. You want the 2 and 3 hole hitter. Leadoff guys just don't have RBI opportunities. That mostly comes from 2 things. If you kind of want to know about lineup factors, when you're leading off, you are guaranteed to come up with nobody on base at least once, right? And then for the rest of the game, it evens out. If you take out the first inning in these lineup spot things, they all kind of like the big difference is really they don't go away, but they really smooth out or whatever you want to say. But also the leadoff hitter has the disadvantage of having the 8 and 9 guys. The guys that don't get on base, the worst hitters are hitting in front of them, so they typically have less guys on base even in the later innings. But really, for like fantasy point efficiency, I believe it's number 3 is the best overall because you have a lot of RBI opportunities and you still have run opportunities because the 4, 5, 6 hitters are usually pretty good. You get that plate appearance in the first inning every time too, so you're kind of getting in there before the turnover, which can help. So Michael Busch, like him. We'll go to some pitchers now. I've seen even people like the Ryan Weathers is the first guy I'm going to mention, and I think he's had a couple good starts lately. Yes, 6.1 innings against the White Sox, 1 run, 3 hits. Last time for Weathers, 6 innings against the Tigers, 6 hits, 1 run, 14 strikeouts, 3 walks, really nice in the last 2. So maybe that window is closed, but after those 2 starts, June 5th and June 12th, he faced the Red Sox and then the Blue Jays. He gave up 11 runs, 12 hits, and 10.1 innings. And at that point, a couple people had asked me, I think I talked about Weathers in a Drop podcast last week. I think it was last week. A couple people were like, should we drop Ryan Weathers? And it was like, no way, right? It's got a 20% K minus walk. And again, that might be tougher now because 2 starts in a row. People are very, very conscious of the most recent stats. The time to trade for a guy, I guess, is right after they have a bad start. not really one. Most people are smarter than that. But if a guy goes 2-3 starts with bad numbers, even if the underlying stuff isn't good, like whatever, it's 1 or 2 starts. Like you can forgive underlying stuff if it's a small sample. So Ryan Weathers tougher to do now after the 2 good starts. But look, he's got he's had a couple day-to-day situations, but I believe he's avoided the IL. I mean, he's made 15 starts already. And what's the league leader at? 17, 18, 17. Bybee, Alcantara, Soriano, and Ryan have 17 starts to lead the league. So Weathers has been healthy, 20% K minus walk. Do you want to know how many pitchers have 13 starts with at least a 20% K minus walk? Not too many, actually, more than I thought. It's actually quite a long list. I'll tell you though, there's 13 starts and a K minus walk above 20%. Mizurowski, Cease, Skeens, Schlittler, DeGrom, Sanchez, Harrison, Ryan, Sale, Rasmussen, Ashcraft, Burns, Gilbert, Williams, Luzardo, and Weathers. I think that's 15 or 16. So still not a lot. I mean, at any given time, there's 150 starting pitchers at least in a rotation, 30 times 5, plus a couple of 6-man rotations. You could say 152 or something like that. And only 15 of those, 10%, are at this 20% thing, and Weathers is one of them. So it might even be a buy high. I don't know. You just think he's very good. The home runs, a little bit of a problem, 1.7 home runs per 9. Not going to get any easier. I do like him as a lefty in Yankee Stadium, though. Most of those cheap homers come to right field, which gives an advantage to lefties who are harder to pull to right field. But I guess you could also, you give up a couple cheapos to righties who go the opposite way or whatever. But I'm saying a lot of words. I could have just said, look, Ryan Weathers has a 3.95 ERA and a 20% K minus walk. It's pretty good. The whip's pretty good, 1.14, 27% K, less than 7% walk, Ryan Weathers. Jesus Luzardo, this is like an emotional appeal, I guess. He just gave up 5 earned runs, and maybe if someone just watched the box score, they didn't notice the errors. They probably noticed the 13 strikeouts. What a weird line there. 6.2 innings for Luzardo against the Nationals on June 23rd. 13 strikeouts, 3 walks, 5 earned runs on 6 hits. He's not given up a ton of hits. 4.77, 4.56. That's not a low number. He's a guy that can give up hits, but the walk rate's down under 8%. He's just good. I don't he has bad starts. He has really bad starts. He's got 3 starts of less than 5 fantasy points scored, but really other than that, the floor's been 12. He's been over 10 fantasy points every start except those 3, which is pretty decent. 3 in a row now, over 25. 4 of his last 6 have 25 plus fantasy points. Those are really good starts. Obviously, last time it was all about the strikeouts, but Luzardo, another 20% K minus walk guy, and you might just be able to capitalize because the guys just might, the guy just might be sick of getting the 5-6 earned runs every once in a while. But all in all, Luzardo should be very good. He's built up 184 innings last year. Not many guys can say that. So really liking Jesus Luzardo as a buy. If you want to get some more advanced stats, let me just show you kind of what I look at here. If K to walk's not good enough for you, I can tell you that Luzardo also has a 14.5% swinging strike rate. That's very high. 35.9% ball rate. That's medium. That's league average, but it's fine with the swinging strike rate. And the 50% ground ball rate is also very nice to have. He's got this sweeper getting ground balls this year. He's got a slider he's thrown in there. Sorry, a sinker. He's throwing a sinker 16% of the time, and that's getting a ground ball a ton. 57% ground ball rate on the changeup too. So it's got two ground ball pitches, one that's medium with the sweeper. The 4-seamer is a fly ball pitch, more of a strikeout pitch for him, or just a get-ahead pitch. Doesn't get a ton of whiffs. But, Luzardo, very good. I'd rank him in the top 20, I think, if I was drafting today, and I don't think a lot of people value him that high. Shota Amanaga I got. This is more of just the whip thing. He has a high fly ball rate, right? That's the problem, and he gives up homers a ton. That's pretty reliable. It's going to happen. He's given up 20 homers this year. He's given up 17 of those in his last 10 starts. Okay, this is the key point with Amanaga. The ERA probably won't be great. He's going to give up a home run or 2 most starts, I would have to say. But he is quite good at everything else. His K rate in the last 10 starts is 21%, which is low, but it's a 15.2% swinging strike rate. He's getting a lot of strikes, just not putting guys away. I think that's happened to him in the past. Maybe it's just a thing where he doesn't really have a great 2-strike pitch or something like that. But yeah, I'm buying way over 21% K rate the rest of the way. Doesn't walk guys. the fly balls are actually kind of good for whip for outs. They go out of the ballpark a lot, obviously. We should talk more about that 28% home run to fly ball rate over the last 10 starts. That's super, super high. It's going to come down. It's bad luck. But, fly balls aren't good for ERA because they go out of the park. And every time you give up a home run, your ERA goes up, right? By definition. But they're pretty good for whip because if they're not a home run, they are caught like 70% of the time, something like that. And that's probably even more than that, right? Like the BABIP on fly balls, I think, is 240, 250. So a fly ball is not a bad outcome as long as it's really good outcome as long as it doesn't go out of the yard. And he should regress positively in two ways. First, 12% barrel rate over his last 10 starts. He's probably a 10% barrel rate guy because he gives up so many fly balls. Barrels are all fly balls mostly. I just said they're all fly balls mostly, which is a contradiction, but so higher fly ball rate guys will be higher barrel rate guys. But as I've proven recently in the notes, in daily notes, like you're going to get to 10% for even the worst guys. Plus the 28% home run to fly ball rate last 10. It's 22% for the year. Maybe he's an 18% guy, which would be higher than the average, but still like a lot of bad luck for Amanaga. He can be better. People are definitely going to be really upset with him because he's just been like really killing the ERA because he had that really bad run of things. And then he had a couple of good starts, but then the last one was bad again. His earned runs in his last 6 starts, give up 7 earned runs on May 24th, then 5, then 6. And people were like cutting him at that point, I think. Then 0 and 1, 2 good starts, and then 4 last time. That was just yesterday on Wednesday. Give up 4 earned runs on 4 hits. Like he gave up 3 home runs. He was great other than the 3 home runs, which that'll continue to be a problem, but he can pitch better. He can have a lower ERA, and the whip is always going to be good. And I think his K rate can be a little bit better here too. Yuri Perez, I don't know. I would like to know that he's definitely healthy. I mean, he got back from that injury really fast, which sometimes it kind of goes both ways. Like you would think that the team would be really careful with a guy with this much talent at this age, and they wouldn't bring him back if they weren't confident. So that's a point in that favor, but you just can't ever know until you see 4 or 5 starts of him after the injury to know, okay, he's the same guy, right? There's no lingering effects of the injury. But season long, it's the same point I want to make. His stuff plus is one of the best in the league. His stuff is nasty. He's got a 14.1% swing and strike rate. The walks have been a problem, but it's not. It's a much higher. Actually, the walk rate's come down a little bit. It's a 10% walk rate with a 36% ball rate. So that's a little bit high. He'd probably be an 8 to 9% walk rate guy the rest of the year if this ball rate holds. Ton of whiffs. The problem with him, why his ERA so high, is that he's given up 12 home runs on a 15% barrel rate. And this is what a lot of people don't understand, and I keep talking about it, so like my readers understand it by now, but a lot of people will look at a 15% barrel rate allowed, and they'll be like, this guy's terrible. Yuri Perez is terrible. He's going to keep doing that, but that's not how it works. Like, pitchers don't control this. That barrel rate, I promise you, look at it over the next 3 months. You're going to see 8, 9, 10%, almost surely. That's going to come down. The home runs will slow down. 20% home run to fly ball rate's really high. That's going to come down. The strikeouts are going to play. If he can keep a 9% walk rate with a 26, 27, 28% K rate, which I think is very much in the range of potential outcomes for him, he's a potential ace, and I think you can get him now because there's a lot of uncertainty. First start back, I'm sure the person in your league that has him was happy to get him back that quick, but just 1 strikeout, only 4.2 innings. Not a lot of confidence inspired there. There weren't whiffs. There was only 4 whiffs on 68 pitches against the Rangers, so that's a little bit worrisome, but I would try to even use that to your favor. Like the ceiling on Yuri is really great, really high, potential SP1 kind of ceiling. You can't be super confident about it, but I think the upside definitely justifies overweights the risk. Brian Wu, I like him as well. Maybe the league has just kind of seen him enough now because he really benefited from this kind of funky release point he has. But he's had a couple rough starts. He has a 20% K minus walk rate this year, 25% K, 5% walk. Excellent stuff there. Not really a home run fly ball issue. 10%, that's actually a little bit low. But a 287 expected WOBA allowed, like that's pretty elite. It'll regress up a little bit, but he's always been really tough to square up, really tough to see. He's got 4 pitches above 12% usage, plus a changeup that he throws in there every once in a while. Good stuff. Whiff rate's fine. 13.2% swing and strike rate. It's not elite, but it's, a point above the league average. That plus the elite ball rate at 32% and soft contact, which you can rely on. makes me like Brian Wu quite a bit. So you can try to get him. He would definitely be like a top 15 starting pitcher for me if I was ranking today, and I think you can get him cheaper than that. Gavin Williams. We saw it last time he bounced back. It was the perfect buy low before his last start. Maybe it's a little bit tougher now. It's another situation where the really high barrel rate allowed, and that's going to come down. And it did last time. He gave up 6 homers in 3 starts, 2 in each of them before last time. Faced the White Sox, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk, 5 innings, 0 home runs allowed. I believe he's got a really high BABIP as well. That's not true. Strike that, 278, but a 23% home run to fly ball rate. That should come down. I just really like, it's another 20.6% K minus walk. Like, that's the story here. Sometimes the answers are just simple. If you got a 20% K minus walk, plus he throws in a 46% ground ball rate, so the home run to fly ball rate, well, that doesn't affect that. So he's not giving up a ton of fly balls, which is good news, but the 12% barrel rate doesn't make any sense because he's got a 23% fly ball rate. Like, he's going to allow fewer barrels. He's throwing a ton of strikes. We know that he's fixed the command thing. Ball rate's under 34%. Really like Gavin Williams. I would think you would have to think that he's one of the safer arms volume wise. Made 31 starts last year, 168 innings, 16 starts this year, no problems injury wise, and his walk rate's down almost 4 points from last year. So you're getting a 20% K minus walk for Gavin Williams with a 3.82 ERA. That's going to come down. Big fan of Gavin Williams. Buy low there. Freddie Peralta, just like, he's going to start maybe even before you listen to this. We'll see how it goes tonight. But he just scored minus 17 fantasy points. He was overpriced. I didn't really like him to draft this year, but I like the idea of trying to trade for him right now, especially right now after that really bad one. K rate's way down, true, 6%, 6 points down from last year, but it should come up just be it by this natural career regression thing, right? He's 30 years old. He's not old. His K rates in his last 6 seasons, I'll read them off from oldest to newest. Freddie Peralta K rates 34%, 27%, 31%, 28%, 28%, and now 22%. I don't know. Did he just lose the stuff at age 30? Is he maybe just got the big contract from the Mets? Did he get extended? Did he? Or was it just a trade? I know they traded for him, but did they extend him? You always wonder, like, you probably shouldn't play this game where you're trying to wonder about guys' motivation. It could be, though. I mean, I'm sure it's happened before. No, okay, he didn't. He just got traded for. It's his contract year for him, so there's definitely no motivation concern there, right? He should be an unrestricted free agent after this year, I think. Don't quote me on that. Look that up yourself if you want to confirm it, but just the same thing we talked about with Machado. Like, he's been a lot better than this in the past, and he should end up pitching more like his career average is. 12.5% swinging strike rate for Freddie Peralta, 38.5% ball rate, high ball rate, fine whiff rate. He's not going to be great. He's not going to be elite, but I think he can be a lot better than he's been, obviously. A 300 BABIP on a 237 expected batting average is some bad luck, 19% home run to fly ball rate. And it's just a good idea to check in on the price of a guy after they give up 10 earned runs. He's given up 17 earned runs in his last 3 starts. So good buying opportunity for Peralta. You shouldn't have to pay that much. This next guy is Shane McClanahan. He's going to be tougher to do that on. I guess if it wasn't, I would have been trying to sell him early on because I really didn't think he could stay healthy. But now he's 15 starts in. He's been getting pretty deep into games, not super deep. They've kind of been pulling him a little bit, but 6 innings at least a few times. Yeah, the volume's not really great, I guess. 5 innings, 4 innings, 3.2, and a shortened start there, and then 6. But he's healthy still. He's got a 23% K rate, 9% walk rate, 15% K minus walk. So I guess it's not all super great, but I put him on this list just because of some bad luck lately. If we look at his last couple starts, he's got a 341 BABIP. That's last 3 starts, 38% home run to fly ball rate allowed. He's given up 3 homers in his last 3 starts. That's not going to be typical for him. Good stuff, good command, 50% ground ball rate. Just a little bit of a rough patch. Maybe he's wearing down, though. I don't know. This isn't the most conviction I have on a buy low. But I kind of like checking on McClanahan, see there, but I probably wouldn't put him on this list if I was doing it again. Nathan Eovaldi, what's up with him? I mean, he's usually getting hurt. He's very old, but he's been kind of unlucky as well. He's got a 4.24 ERA with an 18% K minus walk. That's very good. 1.6 home run per 9. That's not typically an issue for him. And it's a 26% home run to fly ball rate for Eovaldi, which is really, really high. It makes even less sense since Texas has been one of the tougher places to hit home runs in over the last few years. He's been pretty good at home. 25% K rate, 5% walk rate. On the road, it's 23% and 6%. 7 home runs given up at home, 10 on the road. So, yeah, he's been really good. 51% ground ball rate. Again, 18% K minus walk for Eovaldi, and yet a high ERA. I'd be worried about him getting hurt again, but I guess he's made 15 starts. He hasn't gone on the IL. I think maybe he had to get skipped, or maybe he did make a really short trip on the IL. I think he's been scratched a couple times, something like that. So I'd be worried about that, but I think he can be pretty cheap. I think he's good. Not a lot of guys get a 15.6% swing and strike rate with a 32% ball rate like Eovaldi has. And pitching in Texas is an excellent place to pitch. Last guy, George Kirby. I don't know. Everything's down for him as well. If you look at last year, last year was his real like strikeout rate pop-up year. He was like 22, 23% before last year, and then he pops that up to 26%. This year it's down to 21%. But there's, I believe, a high BABIP, 338 this year. That's very, very high. He's given up a 301 expected WOBA, which is very good. He's got a 49% ground ball rate, does Kirby. 401 BABIP in his last 8 starts. He's been super unlucky in that regard, and there you go. There's the path forward. He's been hit hard. He's got a 290 expected batting average against. So, yeah, he's earning some of the BABIP, but not 401. You're not going to have a 401 BABIP for long. So I like George Kirby. Little resource just to let you know about if you have access to this MLBDW season-long data sheet. There's a link in the resource glossary if you're a paid subscriber. If you want to zoom in on that, I shouldn't say this. The URL's on the screen. Like if you wanted to go copy all those crazy letters, like you could have at it. I guess I'm kind of subjecting it to that, but this will give you SP luck numbers. I like going to the last 30 luck score and seeing who's been really unlucky in the last 30 days. You have to get rid of the unqualified guys, filter to the dudes with numbers there, and go to like at least 6 starts. What we find here, not a lot at the top. Steven Matz, 375 RISP hit rate. That's like strand rate. That's very high. 404 BABIP last 30 on just 2 starts. Okay, so let's forget about him. Let's go to at least 4 starts in the last 30. Peralta's here, 174 luck score, meaning bad luck, 353. Strand rate's terrible, 375 BABIP, 25% home run to fly ball rate. A lot of bad luck there, but we already talked about him. Bryce Elder is here, Jeffrey Springs, Shane McClanahan, Eovaldi, even Grayson Rodriguez, Mitch Keller, Tatsuya Imai, some other just very bad luck last 30. So I wouldn't pay a ton for any of them, but a lot of these guys are probably available in 12-team leagues, right? I don't think Springs is good enough, but Elder, I don't really think he's good enough either. But 15-team leagues, Elder, Springs, they can pitch a little bit better. Probably not Springs because of that fly ball rate in Sacramento. That could be ugly. Grayson Rodriguez, too. I don't know. Mitch Keller in a deep league, won 397 BABIP last 30 days. He's never great. He's like a 4.25 ERA guy. But 15-team league, if he's free or cheap, he can give you some good volume. And the Pirates are scoring runs for these guys this year, so that helps. Tatsuya Imai, I just have no idea. He's given up a 364 BABIP, but his command is just all over the place. Sometimes he's great, sometimes he's terrible. He's only made 10 starts in the major league, so we really don't know much about him, but you could say he's had some bad luck lately. Jose Soriano, maybe 333 BABIP last 30, 275 for the year, so that shows you how much higher it is. 44% home run to fly ball rate. Now that is Jose Soriano rarely gives up a fly ball, so that high home run to fly ball rate is on a pretty low sample, but bad luck there. People are definitely thinking he's like trash. And they probably completely forgotten about how good he was at the beginning because he's been pretty bad for a long time. So there might be a little bit of a buy low opportunity there for Jose Soriano. Emmett Sheehan, too, a little bit tough to give up on him. 312 BABIP last 30, but he's been really bad. Still getting whiffs, still throwing a decent amount of strikes. Good pitch mix. I think he can figure it out. The Dodgers seem to figure stuff out. I don't know. It's hard to know. It's hard to feel great about Sheehan. I was kind of thinking about dropping him in a 10-team league I have him in. But after looking at it, I just thought it was worth sticking around. So anyway, this thing's updated every morning, so you can go check the luck stuff and use all of that. I'm trying to teach you guys how to fish instead of giving you a fish. And maybe that helps. I don't know. I'm trying to get the podcast going. keep them up throughout the year. Tim's helping a lot, but that's it for this one. We'll talk to you later.